Hello everyone, this is Professor Sanchez, and the goal of this video is to teach you a few more skills and concepts that we'll be working on this week as well as through the rest of the semester. First things first, set an intention. An intention is all about being focused on trying something, being a part of the process of trying something. It's not as oriented with the final goal or the end result like a goal is. It's more of, I'm going to intend to do this, I'm going to try to do this, and I'm going to engage with the process of doing it. So one positive intention for class this week, if you've already set one, check back in with it and think about how you're doing with that intention. If you haven't set one yet, take a moment to write it down. And feel free to send it to me as well. I'd love to check in with people and see what you're working on. All right, just to review, remember the last step of the reading process and the learning process too is reviewing something. We went over this in the other PowerPoint, but the reading process has 5 main steps. When you start to implement these 5 steps in the process, it can slow you down a little bit, especially the annotating part. When you really, are working on writing comments and underlining and highlighting, it can really slow you down. But the positive is that it will actually save you time in the long run because you're going to understand what you're reading. So imagine that you don't have to reread the same paragraph 5 times because you weren't focused, right? I do that too sometimes. You annotate it and you actually get the meaning out of it so you don't waste your time going over it again. In time, practicing this process, it will go a lot more quickly for you, and I guarantee you'll have a much richer understanding of what you read, and you'll enjoy it more. So let's just review really quickly. We start with previewing and questioning. So you look at the general information, the introduction, the title, and you come up with some questions about the text. Then you read and make sure you're annotating as you go so that you have those notes to come back later. It's going to help you if you need to take a test, take a quiz, write a discussion, write a paper, write a paragraph, have a conversation, all of those things. It's going to help you with all of those things. And then after you're done reading, you recite. So you answer those questions you came up with that maybe you wrote down. You summarize what you just read. And then lastly, a day or 2 later, you come back and you summarize again to cement that idea into your head so that you don't forget it for later. Reviewing really helps with memory, okay? And I don't know about you guys, but my brain fog is sometimes out of control. So reviewing is really helpful to understand something and to remember what you want to say later. Okay, 2 concepts that we're going to talk about this semester and use every single week are mindfulness and metacognition. We're using these 2 skills and practices to be able to reflect and meet that course learning outcome. These are 2 tools that are going to help us be reflective of ourselves, our study skills, our reading, writing, and thinking practices. I want you to take a minute and think about what is your relationship to these terms. So what do you think they mean? How have you used them or maybe seen them in your life? Mindfulness, obviously we have the word mind in here, which is important, right? Metacognition, you might have heard something like that's so meta before. There's also the word cognition here. Cog is a Latin root for lots of words like cognitive. I don't know if you've heard like cognitive function. That's also dealing with the brain, the mind. And remember, these are words that we're going to use to help us to reflect, okay? So I want you to take a moment previewing, right, before we get started to think about what these words mean and how you've seen them or used them before. Mindfulness is simply paying attention on purpose without judging it. So you are focusing on something, you're making a choice to do that. So you're focusing on something on purpose and you're being open, you're not judging it. So for example, if you do a scan of your body and you just kind of check in with your body, like how am I feeling? And you realize you have pain in your neck, Can you be open to kind of feeling that pain without going right to like, this is disastrous, I have pain in my neck? Not that it's not disastrous, but are you able to sit with noticing something on purpose without judging it? That's mindfulness. Okay. So we'll be thinking about that, with our study skills too. Like when you think about how you're doing as a student, can you look at the way your skills, your strengths, your weaknesses on purpose without judging them? And that'll be a real challenge this semester. Second term, metacognition. It is thinking about your thinking. So it's focusing on process, how we plan, monitor, like check in with and assess, like decide how it's going in terms of our understanding and our performance. So in class would be, how are we understanding the material and how are we performing? So we're thinking about that. We're thinking about, do I understand what I'm doing? How am I doing in class in terms of performance? Like, am I meeting my goals? Am I getting good grades? Am I doing my best? Am I learning? Metacognition also is a critical awareness of what you're thinking and learning, as well as how you are as a thinker and learner. So not only are you thinking about, what is my brain doing? What are my thoughts? And what am I learning inside my head? You're also looking at yourself as a thinker, a person who thinks, and a person who learns. And you're saying, how am I doing as a thinker? What are my thinking processes like? What are my learning processes like? Even more important, learning how you learn is one of the most important things you can do in college, because everyone learns a little bit differently. All right, we're going to go into this more. It might be a little fuzzy right now, and that's okay, but we're going to practice this semester, and I think that will help you understand it more. I want to talk about online learning skills. Obviously, both our classes are completely online. So we have to think about, what are the skills that are most important for people who are learning online? How is that different than in-person learning? I want you to also take some time to think about this week, what do you struggle with the most while taking an online class? I would love to have an email from you that told me what you are struggling with the most, or what you think you'll struggle with the most, so that I can help you. Each of you will struggle with something. It's part of learning. There's no kind of positive movement forward in learning without struggle, without obstacles, without challenges. So I'd love to know what your challenges are. And knowing that we all don't have all the skills or the same skills, what can you do if you face an obstacle? I can give you just a few examples. In terms of skills for online learners, number one, time management. You have to be able to know what the due dates are, be productive, and be disciplined in your work. You need to create a schedule for yourself. You need to have some kind of planner to record things in. You need to be organized, super, super organized, and you need to start right now, today, okay? If you need help with that, I am here. I'm all about it. Secondly, you need to ask for help. Each of you needs to ask for help as often as you need it, okay? If you have a question, if something isn't clear, that's bound to happen. This is an asynchronous online course. You have to reach out. You have to ask me so that I can help you. I don't know that you're struggling if you don't tell me. And it should be like small things. Like, don't wait till you're at like disaster level to contact me and like it's 1 minute to go till submission time and you're like having a really difficult moment. As soon as you don't understand something, just send me an email. I welcome it, I expect it, and I hope for it. So let me help you and ask for help. All right. I'd love to hear more about this from each of you individually. So please send me an email if you're so inclined, and let me know kind of what you're dealing with. All right, last slide. We're going to be focusing on note taking throughout the semester. I wanted to give you a couple examples of ways you can organize your notes. Not everyone has been taught how to take notes before, so these are two different methods. There are a ton of ways, but these are two main ones that people introduce in college. This is called Cornell notes. You put the title of whatever your notes are up here, as well as the date, so you have that recorded. And then you make two columns. The left column is sort of thinner than the right column. Here you're going to put keywords and questions. Over here you're going to write notes about what the keywords mean, answer the questions, write down main ideas about whatever is over here. So you're kind of splitting it into main ideas and then development of those ideas. You should have a notebook probably for this class, or like an online, like a document or something that you keep notes in so that you can keep track of what you're learning each week. Then at the bottom, you can do a summary down here. So after all this, after you've written all these notes, what's the main takeaway here from these notes? That's one way to organize notes. This also might really help you in other classes. Secondly is the outline method. You might be familiar with this, where you have kind of like a main heading and then you break things down into subpoints. This can work too, and you can organize it some different ways. I just wanted to show you these visuals and break it down for you a little bit. If you have any questions about this PowerPoint or anything this week, please reach out. Have a good day.